exactly.
to
Yeah.
focus on other things, because there's any number of things that are going on. So love that. Now, we did talk about this a little bit, but I'm going to push you a little bit more, because I don't know if we got some really like specific answers to that, which was, what type of strategies have you executed and then also appear to be impactful? And of those strategies, and I'm talking about, like, hitting up, whether you're using Twitter, whether you are, going on Reddit or paid advertise, whatever you might be using for a marketing strategy as a whole. And what have been impactful, and which ones have maybe fallen short, and how are you able to, I guess, determine this and kind of shift as things move on?
Well, yeah, I would say, as far as strategy wise, the biggest marketing pool we've got from the jump has been Twitter, for sure.
Okay.
The Twitter community really embraced this idea, like, right off the bat. So I've also been implementing, like, a series of ads, based on the animation promos we've been creating, which is another thing we thought would be really cool. Like little comedic animated, promos that advertise the game, but also kind of show that there's this life behind it, because there is a life behind it, and it's fun, and it's satirical, and it's a parody based.
Yep.
So we really wanted to lean into that. We have a couple of other promos that really lean more into the parody aspect of things. So we're excited to show those as the campaign goes forward. But yeah, one of the main strategies we had was, like we said earlier, was to keep the community involved as much as possible. We knew that going into it, that people love being a part of something great. I mean, we all love being a part of something great, especially when we can clearly see the greatness of that something we want to be a part of. So we wanted to make sure that, we felt like one of the best strategies that we had was the connectivity we would have with our community. And that comes from just being clear with them. That comes from communicating with them. That comes from offering opportunities for them to be a part of the game. And so there's so many different ways to strategize that community effort that we've been trying different ways to do. And as far as some things that have kind of fallen short, I would say that we've learned to focus our marketing on the places that are stronger. Initially, we started like just kind of promoting across the different social media platforms. We did Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram simultaneously. We saw a much larger pull from Twitter. I guess second would probably be Instagram, and then Facebook's kind of just dead in the water. So that's one of the ones that certainly fell short, which is crazy, because the pictures, the images, the original character designs went viral on Facebook first.
Oh, okay.
So when we went back and tried to like market it from that standpoint, we didn't get the results as much as we wanted to, but there are still a lot of people that are coming from Facebook and kind of go, oh, I remember when these were trending. Oh, we got the game. It's happening now. So some people are circling back and going back to the game after, based on the viral images. But yeah, our main strategy though was really just to show the story that we're telling, because we really believe in the story that we're telling. We think it's silly. It's dumb. Let's just be honest. It's brilliantly dumb. But we think that there's also like this really cool aspect of the lore that we have. So we knew that strategically, if we really show the world we're trying to build with CKZ, that people would be invested in seeing it grow, and we would be willing to invest to see it grow.
Cool. And one thing that I want to point out too, that I think is great, and it's funny because I have a client of mine that we're working towards a Kickstarter campaign and planning for, and you do this exact same thing that I was going to help look at, have them identify too, which is simply, and the point that I'm trying to make here is that all the strategies that you listed were all things that you tried before, all things that you tested before. So it goes to show that your marketing for this, basically, in a sense, started a long time ago. And then when you're ready for your campaign, you already have methods and tactics that are kind of tried and true. But then go in with an open mind, because like you said, Facebook was one of the more promising ones for you guys a while back, but platforms change, things change and stuff, and then you identified that, shifted, and put more of your efforts and energies into the ones that were really driving the results and having a larger impact on, the overall progress of the campaign as far as how you're the means in which you're able to determine that. So again, it's important to know that you could have strategies or understand strategies from other people and how they're using them, but also understanding how those worked prior to or whatever. So I think it's great that you had that time and initiative to like take those in and use them to your advantage, because why reinvent the wheel, right?
Definitely. Yeah, exactly. And that's pretty much what we did. We just took like the last year or two to just really watch how different products and IPs and campaigns, how they marketed themselves.
Yeah.
And to kind of see how people, related to them or responded to it. And we learned a lot from doing that. Just sitting back and watching, to learn a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. All right. So at the moment that this episode will be available to other people, to everybody listening here, you have about, I think just over 2 weeks. I think it's right around like 21 days that you have remaining of the campaign. Now, in light of that, are you exploring any other potential opportunities? And if so, like in terms of marketing or maybe cross promotion or anything like that, and if so, how are you trying to take advantage of them with everything else that you have going on with the campaign?
So without saying too much, we have been approached by a couple of potential investors. Ironically, a lot of them have been following me for years. And so we're kind of just like right now, our goal is to the campaign. That's where our focus is. Yep. We're really just focusing on the campaign, because that's what's happening right now.
Yep.
So that's our main goal. But we're hopeful though, because it definitely gives us some breathing room, I think, towards as we get closer towards the end of the campaign. That regardless of the position we're in by the end of this campaign, we're in a good position, and this game will be made regardless. So, I would say right now we're just kind of riding out the campaign to see where we stand before we make any decisions. But we are talking to a few people, that are excited to invest into this game. So we're kind of the ones that's like, just give us a second. Just give us 1 second. Let's figure this out first. Let's do the campaign first. We want to make sure we do this first.
Yeah.
And then, we'll circle back and see what happens. But I think in a perfect world, it would be great for us to have a successful campaign, and then also to be able to collaborate with these investors, because that just means more we can put into the game.
Yeah.
And I think either way, we're in a great position. We're in a really good position. But, we're just going with the flow right now, and just seeing how things go, and just working with things as they approach us.
All right, awesome. And it's still kind of, I figured it would relate to execution in a way, but it's a little bit different. But I really had to know this, and I'm sure a lot of other people are kind of thinking the same thing. But like, what kinds of feelings and emotions are you experiencing throughout this whole campaign? And I think it's especially valuable now that like this is happening, like I said before, happening now. You're in the moment, right? Mm-hmm. And what I really want to know, because I think this is important for everybody listening that is considering doing a crowdfunding campaign at some point in their life, are you doing anything to try to set your personal expectations and your outlook so you can address and avoid any negative concerns that you might have?
Yeah, I would say, with anything, you have to weigh the pros and cons with what you're doing. I've been at this career-wise for a very long time. So I have a thick skin to things like this, especially falling short. It happens, it's a part of the process of making anything great. But I'm not the type to be deterred by what I consider to be minor setbacks, because in my mind, anything that isn't life-threatening is a minor setback. Yeah. So there's a way over it. There's a way to get past it. Of course, I'm nervous about the campaign and the outcome. I'm human. There are days where, I'll see people's responses to things, and it kind of hurts. People can sometimes forget that there's a person behind this account. Right. I have feelings. I'm a real person. And I think they see numbers behind an account, and then they just dehumanize you from that. They put you on this pedestal in their minds to where, don't have feelings, but like I have feelings. I'm a person, you know. I really have feelings. But no, but it's you know, I don't try to put too much attention to stuff like that. I try to focus mainly on the people that I know, which always outweigh the negatives. The people that are supporting me, the ones that are constantly rooting for this game, that are just that have taken it upon themselves in many cases to do what they can to promote the success of this campaign. So, I mean, there's so many more pros than cons that kind of keep me afloat. But yeah, I'm human too. I'm human at the same time. So there's definitely days where I may feel a little down, but I try to remember that there's always a bigger picture. And I try to remember that this comes with the territory of you know, there's no risk, there's no reward without a little risk, you know. Exactly. So you just kind of have to take it as it goes. But I think over time you just get stronger. You just get, you know, you just learn how to respond better to things.
Yeah,
and react better.
Totally. So what I would probably recap with that then is, as you said, like, unless it's life threatening, like you're gonna bounce back up. Some people might bounce back up a little bit earlier than others, but you're still going to come out of it. And the more you do it, the more risks or whatever else that you take, you're really going to be able, each time you're going to come by the stronger. So if this is something that's doing something like this or different, in a similar vein, that's new to some of you out there, that you're gonna, it's a learning experience. Everything's a learning experience, because if you don't have the failures to learn from, you don't have anything to learn from. Basically,
exactly.
It'll be a misguided journey, and then you can fall a lot harder than you would like.
Exactly, it makes it 10 times harder.
Yeah. So, all right, cool. But again, like you said, you're human. You're still nervous. Just because you have a lot of experience and confidence to really help lead you on with your head up high and everything. I don't care how big people ever get. There's always going to be a level of nervousness that you get, because being nervous is actually showing how much you really care about the project and how much you want it to succeed. So nervous is a good thing.
It's definitely a good thing.
All right, cool. All right, well, we're going to start wrapping up soon, but before we do that, I want to talk about some lessons learned. And to start, I was curious, like, how important was planning your campaign? And do you feel it contributed to the current funding trend that we're seeing right now?
I would say the importance of it was we kind of saw the vision of what we considered to be the future of fighting games, and that's kind of like taking something as silly as this idea, which is, if you want to be real, started as a meme, and kind of turning it into something real. You know, we looked at it at our product. We said we have the characters, we have, you know, an interesting style, we have members of our team that aren't only fight game enthusiasts, but have actually worked on fighting games. And we just wanted to show that, you know, we have the hands and the minds involved behind this project to make this game a success. So as far as the funding trends we're seeing now, which kind of takes us back to our choice to do the demo, we kind of knew we weren't going for the full game at jump. And one of the things we definitely didn't want to do was bite off more than we could chew, because that's been one of the main reasons why these campaigns like this have failed in the past. Which is why we're really glad with the campaign we created, as far as our digital rewards, and as far as how we plan to articulate all the funds to where they're supposed to go throughout the process of the game. We really did our due diligence to make sure that everything was going towards the game, to make sure that the game was always the end all be all, and that every penny of the game would go towards the game. So, you know, that's just something that we had initially going into it. And we just wanted to make sure we didn't fall into the trend of biting off more than we could chew and promising too much than we could fulfill. So we definitely made sure that we didn't do any of that in the campaign. And we kept it at a level that was feasible for us to do. And for that, we're really, really proud, because we feel like we were able to recognize an issue and then find an appropriate response to it and a solution to it that also kind of catered to where we are globally, right?